Abandoned ship. This is the point where the professionals responsible for keeping a giant floating machine afloat collectively decide, yeah, we're out of options. Contrary to what movies suggest, ships usually do not vanish beneath the waves in 30 seconds. In many cases, there is still time to evacuate. The moment you hear abandoned ship, it is generally a good idea to stop wondering whether the situation is serious. The crew has already answered that question for you.
Life jacket. A life jacket is humanity's way of admitting that swimming skills have limits. The ocean is very good at reminding people of this fact. Even strong swimmers become much less impressive when surrounded by cold water, waves, darkness, and exhaustion. A properly fitted life jacket does not care how athletic you are. It simply keeps your face above water while your survival instincts try to negotiate with reality.
Muster station. A muster station is the place everyone is supposed to gather instead of running around the ship like confused contestants in a game show. Cruise lines assign these locations before departure because history has repeatedly demonstrated that large groups of panicked humans rarely organize themselves efficiently. Reaching the muster station quickly gives the crew a chance to count passengers and begin an evacuation that resembles a plan rather than a disaster movie.
Emergency alarm. The emergency alarm exists because shouting across a ship tends to be unreliable during a crisis. If you hear it, that is not the universe testing the sound system. It means something has gone wrong, and people whose entire job revolves around ship safety would like your attention immediately. Waiting to see whether everyone else reacts first is an excellent way to discover that crowds are not always smart.
Evacuation route. An evacuation route is a carefully designed path leading away from danger. It is not the time to explore parts of the ship you have never seen before. The signs are there for a reason. Following them usually works better than trusting your memory from a casual stroll 3 days ago, while carrying a buffet plate. During an emergency, simplicity becomes surprisingly valuable.
Lifeboat. A lifeboat is essentially a smaller floating object intended to keep you alive after the larger floating object has failed at its job. They are stocked with emergency supplies because rescue is not always immediate. While nobody books a vacation hoping to spend time in a lifeboat, it is still one of the better places to be when the alternative is sharing the ship's fate.
Life raft. A life raft is the maritime version of a backup plan. It may not be luxurious, but survival rarely focuses on luxury. These inflatable craft are designed to get people out of the water and keep them there. When the ocean is actively trying to remove your body heat and energy, even a cramped raft starts looking like premium accommodation. Controlled entry. Controlled entry means getting off the ship without creating additional problems. Emergencies have a strange way of convincing people that shoving others is somehow helpful. It usually is not. Following crew instructions keeps evacuation orderly and prevents injuries. The goal is escaping the emergency, not becoming a separate emergency. Water entry. Sometimes entering the water is unavoidable. This is one of those moments where gravity remains fully committed to its responsibilities. Jumping incorrectly can cause injuries before survival even begins. A proper entry helps protect the body and reduces the chance of arriving in the water already regretting every decision that led to this point. Cold water survival. Cold water does not care about optimism. Many survivors assume drowning is the biggest threat, only to discover that temperature has entered the competition. Even relatively cold water can drain body heat far faster than air. The ocean does not need to freeze you solid. It simply needs to make your muscles stop cooperating. Help position. The heat escape lessening position, or HELP, is exactly what it sounds like, a posture designed by people who studied how quickly humans lose heat in water. By curling up and protecting key areas of the body, survivors can slow that process. It is not comfortable, stylish, or particularly heroic looking, but neither is hypothermia.
Group huddle. A group huddle is what happens when survival and teamwork finally agree on something. Survivors gather close together to conserve heat and improve visibility. Search teams have a much easier time spotting a cluster of people than a collection of individuals drifting in separate directions. It also provides the comforting reminder that everyone is dealing with the same terrible day. Distress signaling. Distress signaling is the art of making sure rescuers notice you before the ocean decides to relocate you somewhere inconvenient. Flares, whistles, lights, and emergency radios all exist because yelling across several kilometers of open water has historically produced disappointing results. The sooner rescuers know where you are, the sooner your adventure can become someone else's report.
Survival craft management. Escaping the ship is only phase 1. Once aboard a lifeboat or raft, resources suddenly become important. Food, water, energy, and morale need to be managed carefully. This is the stage where people discover that survival is less about dramatic action and more about making sensible decisions while waiting for help to arrive.
Rescue recovery. This is the moment everyone has been waiting for. A rescue vessel, helicopter, or aircraft finally locates the survivors and begins recovery operations. After hours or even days of uncertainty, the situation starts improving rapidly. The sinking ship is now someone else's investigation, and your primary responsibility becomes accepting the fact that your travel itinerary has experienced a minor adjustment.